girls, how you doing? This is Stephanie Rice coming at you. And I was doing something very impromptu today. I did soak some fenugreek. Yes, you see how yellow that is? Well, you'll see it in a minute. And then I went out in my backyard and I saw, for some strange reason, that my rosemary plant is growing like crazy in the cold. And my spicy oregano is just taking over the garden, taking over that garden bed. So I said, you know what? Harvest time. So I started to picking, and this is what I'm going to do. Let me show you, okay? I hope you can see. Okay. So you see how wonderful that fenugreek has turned out, fenugreek tea. I just thought I'd just make it as a spritz and call it a day, and that's it. Because fenugreek has lots of protein in it, but it feeds the follicle so well, okay, and encourages growth and regrowth, okay. So fenugreek is very nice and make a nice spritz. But I've had this in here for quite some time. I started at 11 p.m. last night, and I was going to take it out at 11 a.m., but I did not, and it's around 5 o'clock. That's crazy, right? So I'm going to strain this out. I'm not going to leave this in here any further, but I may just make another tea with the same seeds. Hello. You do not have to throw it out, especially since, if you can see these seeds, I don't have like a clean spoon. I just finished doing my DC. But you can see that these are split open, but it's not really puffy. They're not as puffy as they could get, but they're split open. So they're kind of still a little firm, so I can still get a lot out of them, okay? So what we'll do is we'll strain that. But right here, what I have is my rosemary and also my spicy oregano, okay? And I have this in a mortar and a pestle, so I'm going to be grinding this right up. Now, what's wonderful about this, as we know about rosemary, is that rosemary is great for hair growth, great for the follicle, great for circulation. Rosemary is the bomb. But maybe many of you don't know about oregano, is that, see, you have these things right in your kitchen. Oregano is great for thinning hair. And so it definitely feeds the follicle, and it definitely encourages regrowth and hair growth, okay? So these two together is a powerhouse. You can actually put this in an oil if you wanted to, but and you can also mash it up, and you can put it right on your edges if you wanted to, okay? It will stimulate growth. All of these will stimulate growth. I left this here just for you to see this little bit, okay? To see that it's, we're straight from the garden. So what I'm going to do is I have some pH balanced water here of pH of 7. I'm just going to put a little bit. I have maybe like a 3/4 of a cup, but I'm just going to put a tiny bit in here just to get this going. Okay. If you're not familiar with this, I'm going to put this to the side, fenugreek to the side. If you're not familiar with this, that's all you just do. You just bang it out. And the thing about ingredients like this, what you're doing is you're opening up its essence. Okay. And when you open up the essence of something, of a food, then it purges. It purges its goodness. Look at fenugreek. That's exactly what it did. I put it in water, soaked it, and it started to open. Water brings dormant things alive, makes them active and not dormant anymore. Okay, so right here, we want to, I already kind of just tore it up and put it in here, but it's still solid. And the more something purges, the more you can smell it. It smells wonderful in here, from this rosemary and this oregano. I'm sure you can imagine. And I love it that I got it straight from my garden, and I got the seeds from Seed Savers. And that Seed Savers, they have organic seeds. So you start out with that. So it's not a GMO, genetically mutated organism, you know, because there's so many dangers just in a grocery store. I want you to see, I want to talk to you. So there's so many dangers even in the grocery store, you know. And I don't know if you know about Monsanto, who changed their name to, I believe, Breyers now. Crazy. All right, you better get the disguise, Monsanto. You better get disguised. But I don't know if you know much about Monsanto. I marched against Monsanto, and a lot of people still didn't know what it was. But Monsanto is a company that they made Agent Orange back in the days during the Vietnam War. And after the Vietnam War ended, they made something for gardening called Roundup. And what Roundup does is that it kills weeds. But they found out later that it's toxic too to use as well on a regular basis. But what they started doing was taking that Roundup and taking different hormones like growth hormones, sticking them into the seed. First, they buy the rights to food. Can you believe that? I know, I didn't think that it was possible either. But they buy the rights to food, and then they do what they want with it. They take the seed and they stick it with they stick hormones in it, and also hormones in it, pesticides in there, because no insects or anything want to come near that. Okay, so it's like having a pesticide without spraying pesticides on it. It's inside the food, and guess who eats it? We do. Unless you want to start buying your food from a farmer, which would be a really, really good thing to do. But let's get back to this. So here we go. This is what I got so far. I'm fine with that. So I'm going to take that. Hello. Here I have my fenugreek. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sift my fenugreek right out there. I'm going to strain it right out. Okay. Very nice. Nice. Great. I can save that right for later. Or really, I can just take this water right here that I had and just put it right in there. Now I'm just going to drop this fenugreek back in the bowl and put that water in there. Fantastic. I'll let that sit. Maybe I'll give that to somebody else if I don't need it. Or I'll use it as a hair rinse for my third time. So I would use this 3 times a week since this has protein in it. And let me get this. There's a little particle in there. Okay. Since it has protein in it, then I would use it only 3 times a week. But I am low porosity. If you're high porosity, it may be a different story. You may know better about what your hair needs as to protein, because you would need more protein than low porosity curls. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to steep this. And the reason why I took out those seeds is because I don't want it to get any stronger than what it already is. It's nice and yellow. And look at that. Look at that. Look at that. See the essence of that rosemary, of that green rosemary, and that green oregano, that chlorophyll is going all throughout there. See that goodness? And that goodness is going to combine together. I'm going to let this sit here, and I'm going to let it steep. And then at the end, I will strain everything out and then put it in a spray bottle, and I will be on my way. Well, I hope you enjoy this little tutorial. It's very simple. You can do it too. And I'll speak to you too. Until next time. Bye.